And we are live. Hello.
Freaking time!
Welcome to this delayed Wine Woman Words. Not our fault. Wi-Fi decided to boycott Diana temporarily.
Wi-Fi, and I also blame Google, and I also blame the fact that we never thought of getting a webcam on our desktop that we always use as a backup for my laptop. Freaking time!
Welcome to this delayed. Please. I had opened the link to make sure the link that I was posting on Twitter worked, and it started playing, so it works.
That's good that works. I think it's just me. It's been a crappy week. I'm just jinxed all this week, so all the bad juju's my fault.
Lots of wine. Or, well, you're having tea, huh?
I'm drinking tea tonight because I'm so tired. Right now, we've got NaNoWriMo Diana going on. So NaNoWriMo Diana is functioning on caffeine and fumes. That's what's getting me through. And we're only like 3 days in, and I'm already exhausted. I've been up to like midnight almost every night. You would think rewriting a book would be so much easier than actually just putting pen to paper and writing it through the first time. I'm usually not this tired until about midway through. It's gonna be a long month.
Well, that is an epic tea mug, if I do say so myself.
So, speaking of, for the month of November, welcome to our first November episode. Hopefully the rest of the month will be some easier than this. But given the fact that we're reading The Melancholy Life of Annie Astor, and I love how you have the book. Mine's in ebook format, so I can't show off my book like that, and I can't do awesome Instagram pictures like you were doing today.
Don't worry, I got you.
Oh, we gotta take this back. And given that it's Thanksgiving and it's a time of crazy families, today's episode is all about the crazy families and how to cope. So, but first I want to talk about the book. I want to talk about Melancholy Life of Annie Astor, because besides just liking to say that title because it's such a mouthful, what do you think so far? You got it today, and I already see you've started reading and tweeting Scott, the author.
I did. So, yeah, Scott Wilbanks is the author of this awesome book. And he tweeted back and said, "Let me know if you have any questions."
That is a dangerous, dangerous thing to say to Michelle. If you all remember when we had Seth on, most of those questions were Michelle's. I know some of them I asked, but I stole them from her because she covered like all of the bases. And yes, that's my dog poking in now, because it's a smaller camera and she can see now.
Hi.
She's always my co-host. You guys just don't typically see her as much because the camera's usually higher up.
Well, I'm about, like, I think 4 chapters in. So, I just reached the part where Elle and Annie both sent their first letter. And Annie is telling, she just took Christian out there to show him, and they're just talking about it. So it's really interesting. I was a little confused at first, only because I was reading trying to read while both kids were awake. So I wasn't entirely
never a good idea.
So I was a little confused because the storylines were introduced so quickly that I was like, wait, what's going on? But no, it's really good. And I love that Annie is just like, oh, okay, so there's a portal to the past in my backyard, but whatever.
Right? I think it's because she's such a weirdo. Like, and I say that in a very good, loving way because I see some of myself in her too. She's just such an oddball that it's like, okay, there's something new. There's this new pathway to somewhere cool. Let's go check it out. Yeah, I quite love that about her. That she's so willing to accept that this whole cool thing is happening.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll be obsessed with this book, and I'm really glad I didn't go to the library to get it. I'm glad that I bought it because it's going to be one of those that I reread. So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm actually taking the opportunity to reread it myself. Because it's been a while
oh,
since I've read it. And it's like, okay, I need to read and refresh myself with it. But the story just stuck with me because I've talked about the story before. Because this is, um, we have Christian in here, and Christian, I love his character and the storyline with him and what happens in this book. I'm not going to refresh anybody's memories. You're going to have to pick up the book and read it yourselves. And
yeah,
it's such a great book about these misfits, these Goonies who just find themselves together, and it's and especially during this time where they create their own family with each other, and then this kind of time where we're having to deal with families, where Thanksgiving dinners, where Thanksgiving isn't Thanksgiving unless Grandma's crying in the gravy. It's nice to have books like this where it's kind of like this misfit family because sometimes your friends feel more like family than your family does.
yeah. So, and it's actually a very fitting book, I think, for November for Thanksgiving. And since Thanksgiving often tends to get overlooked between Halloween and Christmas, we are going to make sure that Thanksgiving is remembered.
We are. Typically in my house, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving very much. It's Ryan's least favorite holiday. It's a day to gorge himself, and like with his family, everything that has gone awry on Thanksgiving. Like I make the joke about it's not Thanksgiving unless Grandma's crying in the gravy. That actually would happen in his house on Thanksgiving, where Grandma would drink too much sherry and end up crying in the gravy. So we always on Thanksgiving we take the opportunity. We don't cook, we don't do anything. We just normally we would take off and just go do something, like go to Disneyland for the day and just hang out and have fun. Oftentimes my mom will come out to visit, um, but this year she's not, and Ryan has to work this year, so we're actually going to have a Thanksgiving at the house, which is going to be totally weird for me. It's been a while.
Are you going to do a turkey?
I am. I'm not going to do a very big one, I don't think. I think we're going to stay home because it's just going to be too hard to just go off to family members' houses and stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think I'm going to do turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and cream spinach, all the fixings. What about you?
I don't really know what's happening. It's like a couple weeks before when we move, so
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be like the last holiday out here with all the families, and my mom's coming out, and I heard that Rich's family, his parents are going to be in Arizona, is what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we'll be doing like an early Thanksgiving, and then usually we end up at Mario and Michael's house. These are family friends. My mom's best friend and their kids and I grew up together. We've known each other since preschool, so we're like practically family. So we'll probably end up there. I'm guessing. So, and no drama with these these groups. Um, there may have been drama with past members of the group, but these members are no longer members of the group. So we have eliminated the dramatic portion.
It's a drama-free zone.
Hmm.
Yeah, we don't really have much drama now with our family. Everything's kind of mellowed out and cooled down, and it's kind of to the point where we're like, meh, we're told to deal with this stuff.
It's really, no drama. Just eat and drink
Mhm.
and wear your super loose sweatpants.
Yeah, pretty much where I'm just gonna eat and write, because it's gonna be towards the end of the NaNoWriMo, so it's gonna be like, eat some turkey, write a sentence. That's just gonna be the way I go.
You can make a game out of it.
I could, I should. I'll actually maybe reach
So
my word count.
you get
I reached
dessert
the
once
obese
you reach
section of the BMI. Yes.
I'm trying to get my list open. So our theme for tonight is kind of books that will make you appreciate or survive your family.
Yes, because
So
believe it or
mine,
not, there's always going to be a family worse than yours, and every family has a little bit of dysfunction. There's a certain level of dysfunction that each family has. It may be like really low, like with Michelle's, or maybe really high, like with mine. You never know. So,
well, we can get
um,
crazy. We're
yeah,
Italian, so
yes,
But
yeah, it
we like to keep it
varies.
to a minimum.
And you think that we're yelling at each other, that we hate each other, and that we're arguing, but no, it's really love. My husband learned this really fast in our relationship. I'd be yelling at him, and he'd be like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And I'm like, "Baby, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just talking emphatically. I'm not angry."
I am speaking with passion, loudly.
Like, you know, you're an Italian if you've actually, while talking, knocked over glasses because your hands are waving emphatically.
Yeah, that happened tonight. Not with wine, but it happened.
I have a tendency, if I know I'm going to be drinking and there's glasses around me, I try to move the glasses. Like, there's like this radius of
Yeah.
like no glassware around me. And hell, at my birthday, there was a glass behind me, and I somehow managed to knock it down when I was talking with my hands, because apparently the more rum I've had, the more I talk with my hands. And it was behind me. It wasn't even next to me, it was behind me.
That's some skill.
It
Lily
is.
broke
I'm
her first
talented.
wine glass on Monday.
Oh,
She
she
wasn't
did?
drinking it. Yeah, she wasn't drinking. I don't want people thinking that I'm giving my 2-year-old wine. But it was empty and it was my wine glass, and she picked it up and swung it and just shattered the glass part of it. And
Kudos
thankfully
to
it was one
her.
of the winery glasses. It wasn't the good wine glasses, otherwise I would have been a little upset.
Yeah, I've done that to my stepmom's really nice stemware, so, you know, shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even 2 years old at the time. I was like 18 or 19.
You have no excuse then.
No, no, my family just knows. Don't bring out the fine china when I'm around. So our
And oh, what
books.
did I want to say? Yes.
Yes.
So, did you want to kick off the list?
Sure. Besides Lemon Kelly Life of Annie Astor, which is a great book to help you survive your family on Thanksgiving, um, my first book on the list is Veins of the Ocean. This book is absolutely beautiful. It is beautifully done, and the family is seriously messed up. Like, they are effed up to the ninth degree. The story follows the sister, the main character, whose name I'm blanking on because I'm just that tired, so just go with me tonight, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she has her when she was a young child, her father got really angry at her mother and threw her brother off of a bridge.
Oh,
Brother survived, dad got arrested, dad got killed in prison, and brother grew up and did the same thing to his girlfriend's child, only the girlfriend's child didn't survive. So she's at this point now where she's examining her life when her brother was alive, and she's finding how to live her life for herself on her own terms. And it takes place in Florida, and she goes down to Key West, and it's a beautiful, heartfelt, gripping story. And then the
and
second one that's on my
when you said the title, it cut out a little bit. What was the name of that again?
Veins of the Ocean.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Okay. The second book on my list is The Gap of Time, which theoretically I shall have a review up within the next week or so. Because I plan on keeping up with the blog this month, beyond just the weekly NaNoWriMo updates, because normally if you follow the blog, the Creating Her Story, I do Sunday posts, and this time I'm not going to be doing Sunday posts this month, I don't think, because there's not going to be a whole lot going on the blog. But I'm going to do NaNoWriMo updates at the very least. But I will be doing a review of The Gap of Time, which is a retelling of A Winter's Tale, which is one of Shakespeare's versions of A Fucked Up Family. In The Gap of Time, it basically follows Winter's Tale almost verbatim, where you have a husband who thinks that his wife is cheating on him and that she's pregnant with another man's child. And he tries to have the child, he has the child basically kidnapped and sent somewhere else. And you follow the child as she grows up with this other family in New Bohemia, which in this book, New Bohemia is New Orleans. And she's originally from England, and that's where her family is. And it's just they did a really good job of making it really gritty. Like, I could really picture this book taking place in New Orleans, where this girl grew up in this jazz club, and it had this really gritty New Orleans feel to it, and I absolutely loved it. And then my third book is The Vinegar Girl, which is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, which I think that counts as a family book, given that you've got two sisters and a father, and the Vinegar Girl is trying to set her up with his lab assistant. And the Vinegar Girl, the main character, is just a shrew, to put it bluntly. And she, I'm sorry. Hey, knock it off, children. I have a toddler going through terrible twos right now. Lilo, the dog. I swear to God, we want to skin her. I say this lovingly, being all about animals and stuff. Ryan found her chewing on a ballpoint pen in the bed today.
Oh,
we don't know where she got the pen. So, yeah, you can go on with yours. As I pull my dogs from each other.
So, I have a few. Now, the first one was actually our first book of the month for when women.
Oh, I've got that one on my list too.
And it's The Portable Veblen by Elizabeth Mackenzie. And I mean, if you read this, it's about this woman Veblen who gets engaged to her boyfriend, well, fiance, and it's kind of about her journey as they start, building or moving towards their life together as a husband and wife. But this girl's mother,
oh my God,
is just like, oh my, you just wanted to reach into the book and smack this woman. It was just everything was about her.
There are very few characters that I can really truly say that I hate, and I hate them so much that I love them. This was one of those characters. I hated her so much. I loved her, but I hated her at the same time because she was just so awful to Veblen. And this poor girl, how could she couldn't even move forward without questioning herself, because her mother would always question what it was that she wanted. And how are you going to know what you want if your mother's constantly going, you sure you want that? He's not what you want. And then she steps back, he's not what I want. Well, why'd you do that? He's what you wanted. Poor girl would have been driven insane.
Yeah, she was, and it was
insane too, in an insane asylum or nursing home or something like that. Yeah, in the book, the mother's ex-husband.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in an insane asylum or a mental hospital, but yeah, he's not that much better.
Yeah, Mama drove him nuts too.
And after reading about her, you really don't blame the guy.
Right? Okay, next book on your list.
The next one that I have, all right, this book is like, it's really gross in that it's based on a true story. It's The Jungle by Upton Sinclair.
Okay.
And it's a family book because it's all about I forget where they're from. I want to say Polish immigrants that come to either Boston or Chicago.
Okay.
But
I
they
always thought the
immigrate,
jungle
and
took place in Boston. I think it was Boston.
I think it might have been Boston, but it's been a little while since I read it. But it's all about immigrants and the hardships that they had to face. So these people, I mean, first of all, they come to America hoping, and it's centered around this young couple that they just get married, and this guy wants to bring his new wife to America to make a better life for them and give her everything that she deserves because he loves her so much. And they get cheated out of rent by a landlord, and landlords were scamming immigrants left and right over,
Mm-hmm.
you know, living quarters, or saying, you owe more, you owe this, you owe that, and they don't know, they don't even speak the language. So, and then it's really about the working conditions in the meatpacking district, and the just everything that these workers had to live through, and it gets into detail, and it's very gross, but it really makes you appreciate everything that you have, in that you do
Mm-hmm.
not have to work in like ankle deep animal leftovers,
Yeah. Right.
or deal with, well, I mean, unfortunately, I know some people still deal with this, but bosses who try to take advantage of their female workers because they need the job and they can't afford to lose the job, and they will do anything to keep the job.
Mm-hmm.
But
We still have that in America, and it's one of those things where we're lucky that it's starting to die off. I mean, I had a conversation with a friend about this where, because I was doing research for a short story on the Triangle Square tragedy, and she was saying, we had to put these protections in place when we were an industrial nation, and now that we've become more of a service-driven nation, we have to put those protections in for our employees now too. So it's evolving. It's constantly moving forward.
mhm. But I mean, if you want a serious story, I mean, this is not a feel good book, but it's
No.
by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a really interesting book, and it's a really good look at the type of hardships immigrants had to go through when they really just wanted to come to a country that was supposed to be the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on
Moving
from
on.
that topic, um, I also have um, I just started reading this to Lily and Landon, and it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The reason I say
Mm.
that is because the first book spends a lot of time talking about the Dursleys and how awful they are. And
Mm-hmm.
if there is a family, a fictional family that will make you appreciate your mom and dad, it is the Dursleys.
Yes. Yes.
I just hate them.
By the end, I started to feel for Petunia because Petunia, she really did try when it came
Yeah.
to Harry.
Toward the
But
end,
yeah.
late in the later books, I didn't hate them as much, but in the first book, well, that's really where you just, don't you know who he is? He's the boy who lived.
Right? Even if he's not, it's just a matter of, he's your nephew and everything. And right, by the way, I'm also trying to get myself back on to the desktop because being on the phone kind of bugs me. So go ahead and continue. We'll see how this works.
My next book. All right. Oh,
Hey, work. It works.
wait. Okay. You have to exit out of your phone.
Okay, I did it.
Yay!
We're here. Yes. All right, I'm back to a real screen. This is wonderful. All right, technicalities are gone, and we're back. The sound was starting to get me on that, where it was just that so incorporated sound for the phone, which is great if you're watching videos while you're at work or something, because I don't do that.
What? Who does that? People do that?
Yeah, I love having the laptop much more. I'll plug it in. Okay, so you were saying the Dursleys.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I read that book, and I kind of forgot just how awful they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were quite awful. So shall I move on with a couple more of my books?
Yes.
Okay. Next one I have is The Girl from the Paradise Ballroom, which don't let the title fool you. I thought this was going to be about a book about a boy and a girl from two different worlds, and it turned out to truly be more of a story about an Italian family caught up in England during World War II and going through the immigrant experience of what it's like in England. And it's just a really good story about this family that's just struggling to keep it together with a really crappy younger brother who reminded me of my cousin, and I kept wanting to reach to the book and just smack him because he reminded me so much of an actual person. So, yeah, that was another really good book to try to make it through with families. The next one I have is The Nightingale. I don't know if you've read that one yet. I know I've talked to you about it.
I saw it on Amazon, and it's on my wish list.
It is a beautiful book, beautiful story. And it's a World War II, obviously historical fiction. And in the story, it's about these two sisters primarily who each do separate things during World War II to survive. One sister lives in the country. She ends up having to take in house World War II Nazi soldiers. And she does work to save the Jewish children of the community. Ends up working for the French Resistance. And it's just this really just wonderful, gut-wrenching, raw story. And do you have any others?
I do. Let me pull my list up. So these are kind of a stretch as far as like family books, but I can justify them. Just give me a chance.
Okay.
The first one I have is The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans. And it's just, that's the only book I've ever listened to on tape. And Peter Coyote narrated it. And if you don't know who Peter Coyote is, he was the dad in A Walk to Remember.
Okay.
So he has that really like gravelly voice that was just perfect for this story. But anyway, it's about this girl who she goes horseback riding with her best friend one day, and after it snows, and the horses slip on ice, and they all, like the four of them, they get tangled up together. They all slide down a hill, and they end up in the middle of a road, and this semi comes around the corner and hits all of them. So from the accident, yeah, they made a movie out of it. I like the movie. They changed the ending, which I thought killed the whole story. But watching the accident in the movie was really just kind of very unsettling. But the best friend died in the accident, and the best friend's horse died. The main character lost her leg, and her horse was so injured that his personality completely changes, and he doesn't trust anyone. He won't let anyone get near him to, change his or dress his wounds or anything. And he's just like completely wild. So um, the mom takes him to this man in Montana who is said to be the horse whisperer who can heal problem horses. But the family in this book, and you have the girl's family, the mom and dad barely talk to each other. They're both very high power career um, people, and they're on different worlds. And then they go to Montana and they're introduced to this family that does everything together. And in the book, I mean, there's kind of a love story between the mom and the horse whisperer, and and it has a very, very sad ending. Um, but it's just kind of reading about this family, and as the horse heals and the girl learns to accept her new life without a leg, you watch this family kind of heal with her, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just really a hard story to listen to, but it's very good. Don't watch
Okay.
the movie. They changed
Okay.
ending in the movie, and it sucked.
That's the case with a lot of books to movies is that, they end up sucking because of that. They
And
change things around.
if you, I understand, practically every movie changes something from a book, but
Mm-hmm.
the ending in this book is so huge, and
Mm-hmm.
it's such a major part of the story that changing it changed all the dynamics that have been building up to the end of the book. So read the book.
Oh, what a letdown. What a complete and total letdown.
And I don't want to give it away if anyone wants to read it, but it's just, if you've seen the book, if you've seen the movie, that is not what happened. And the last one that I had was The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks, and in parentheses I wrote, or really any Nicholas Sparks book.
I can't do his books. They're too, I mean, outside of historical fiction, I really like books that deal with families, particularly immigrant families. I really like those books. But with Nicholas Sparks, I just can't do his books. They're too much of a tearjerker for me. I really, really think so. They're just so, I don't know, like, here, let me just poke you with a stick and see how long it takes before you cry.
Well, his books, they all have the same storyline.
Mm.
Boy meets a girl, boy or girl reveals major secret from their past,
Mm.
either to each other or to the audience, and then boy or girl dies, or both.
Hmm.
Someone dies.
Formula. Just change it around, I suppose.
I mean, if you like, okay, so The Notebook.
And I mean, I suppose it's good for like the commercial fiction for people who just want to go pick up a book on their way through Target.
Yeah. But then I put The Notebook because, I mean, it just kind of makes, well, me appreciate my time with my husband and my family, because I hate the stories of people who love each other and then they're separated and then years go by and they haven't seen each other, but they never stop loving each other and they just wasted all that time.
Because that really never really truly happens. Because if you truly love someone, you go chase them down and be with them.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And okay, and dementia and Alzheimer's scares the crap out of me. Like that's probably, I would probably gladly choose any disease to die of over that. So
Yeah, we get clients. I work in a estate planning office as a paralegal. For those of you who don't remember, and yeah, we get that all the time in our home, in our office, and it's a devastating disease. And to see what it's like for the people who have to deal with it, it's just awful.
So it really makes you thankful for your memories and your family and not losing all that time with the person you love. Such
Absolutely.
kind of a depressing topic for a podcast.
It is, isn't it? Well, I've got two more books to kind of help cheer us up.
Okay.
I've got The Weird Sisters, which this one, ironically, I suppose, maybe not. This group of three sisters, it's the Weird Sisters, they end up coming home because mom's got cancer. They're all surprised. None of them actually know that the other ones are coming home, and they all show up at Dad's door. And Dad is a Shakespearean scholar. And each of the sisters have their own secrets that they're trying to run from. And it's about these sisters coming together and actually accepting who they are as women and finding a relationship with each other, and coming to terms with who they are themselves. The next book that I have on here is this really, really weird book that kind of reminds me of the, do you know that old movie Baron Munchausen?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. I read this a while back, and hold on, I have to take a quick picture. The way my dog is laying on the keyboard is absolutely adorable, and it's going to go up on Instagram and Twitter for you guys to see. My little co-host is here. But the Rathbones, it's about this Whaling family, and it's this really weird Whaling family where the history of the Whaling family is that the great grandfather was a polygamist, and he would just go to the different islands in New England and just pick up his women and kidnap them and bring them home. And there was just like all this huge family of just whalers, and it was him, and he'd have multiple wives, and the brothers would have multiple wives. But at this point of the book, in the current part of the story, it's all died down to just one girl. And the girl's mother dies, and she only has her cousin. And the two of them set off in a boat to go to find her father. And as they go through the story, you find out more about the family history as they visit all of these other islands that are equally as weird. And it's just this odd book about this really, really odd family, and I'm not even sure what to think of this story. Whether if it's just weird, or if it's just sexist, what. But it's just a really weird book. So if you think your family is weird, read The Rathbones, because I guarantee you that family is like 10 times weird.
I might have to read that one. I don't think my family's. I know they're weird.
I'm not even lie about it. I know my family's weird.
We don't have any kidnapping polygamists in the family, so there's that.
I think. No, we don't have that either.
Yay! We can cross that off the list.
Yeah, no.
Gosh, my eyes look like they're like half closed, and I just want to like prop them open. Because I've only had one glass of wine, so I know that's not it.
I was thinking today, I am so exhausted, and I needed to ask you, is this what it's like to have children? To be exhausted like all the time as you're trying to function in normal life?
Yes.
And everything is just chaos around you?
Yep. Just wait.
It's probably a good thing I'm not a mother yet, and I just have dogs and my books. Because right now, I feel like my books are my children.
I'll be out of this phase, and you will be texting me, and I'll just be sitting here going, ha, ha, ha. It's not me anymore. Well, I think we went through all of our books. Did you have any more? I went through mine.
I didn't have any more. That was the last of mine.
And next week we are still on for Thursday. Nothing's coming up. November is going to be my last month of Wine Women Words for the year, just because we'll be
just moving. For the year, guys. Yeah. Just for 2016.
Yes, just for December. Since we'll be moving and getting settled in Chicago, I can't guarantee that I will have the time. So Diana has awesome guest hosts lined up in my stead, and then I'll be back in January to pick up. And we already have January February and March, I think, books picked out. I know January and February for sure are picked out.
What was January again?
The Invisible Library.
Okay, that's right. So December. So this month is Lemon Cully Life of Annie Astor. So go pick up your book now, so that you can join with us in reading. Because this is like therapy for dealing with families. Yes. Isn't that a great cover? Like lift it up further so that they can see the bottom of the letters.
Okay, so I have to talk so my yes. So it's a very beautiful cover. I'm not really often a cover person. Like I don't say, "Ooh, that's a pretty cover," but it's a pretty cover.
That's what hooked me on this book. I didn't expect to like it very much, but it was a title and it was the cover that was like, oh, I need to check this book out. And then I fell in love with the book. So you guys go get your copies of it. Next month is the Czarina's Legacy for December. So even though Michele isn't going to be here, I'm sure she's going to be reading it.
Of course.
Right?
I'll be
of
tweeting.
Course. Absolutely. Live tweeting while we're doing the show. And then in January, we've got The Invisible Library, which is a book that I've been intending to read. And apparently my to-be read list on Goodreads is so long that I put it down about a year ago to read and then never actually read it. And then Michelle was like, oh, you've got to go check out this book. And I go to check out the book and it's already on my to-read pile. So great, there's that. And then in February, we're reading Dido's Crown.
Mm-hmm. And I think that might be it. We don't have March picked out yet, but we got January and February set up. So,
yeah.
So you guys are good.
And yeah, so those are your books if you guys want to be teachers' pets and plan ahead. So you can join in with us.
And prepare for some major Facebook posting next Sunday because Diana and I and a group of our friends will be going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Universal Studios.
Facebooking. There will be Facebooking and Twitter and Instagram and all of that lovely jazz.
Just major fangirling in general.
Yes. There may be some cosplay involved. Some light cosplay. Like foreplay, but like cosplay.
So on that note, I think we will leave you for the evening.
Yes, I've got 1,000 more words to write for NaNoWriMo to make my goal.
Yes, I have some work I need to do and sleep that I need to get.
What's that?
Yeah. But I hope you all have a lovely evening, and we will see you again on Thursday.
Yes, we will see you next Thursday, and our topic shall be a surprise.
Yes. Bye.
Because we don't know what it is yet. Bye.